Hey guys, welcome to the Giving Tuesday Bootcamp. Welcome. My name is Rob, CEO Cosvox.
And my name is Candace, and I run customer success.
And we're really excited to share with you via this Giving Tuesday Bootcamp class number 2. Welcome to our bootcamp again. Thank you so much for joining us last week for those who did, and thank you for joining us today for the second class of our bootcamp. Now, just some logistic items before we begin. Our webcam is on, so you should be able to see us. Also, our audio is on as well, so hopefully you can hear us. And then really lastly, we are sharing the presentation right now. So it should show up on your screen. On your screen, you should see a little heart that says Giving Tuesday, best practices for Giving Tuesday campaign promotion. This class is being recorded as well. So that means if you need to jump off early, feel free to. We'll send you a recording, as well as if you want to share this recording with your colleagues, feel free to as well. I'll send you a link in the next day or two after we process the recording so that you can view it at your own time or several times. In addition to that, this presentation will be sent to you as well. So look out for an email from me. And of course, if you don't receive it in the next few days, feel free to ping me directly or Candace, and we'll be happy to resend you the link because sometimes it does get caught in your spam inbox. All right. So let's get started because we actually have a ton of stuff to go over today in today's class. So again, we are Cosvox. We are a fundraising platform. We help you raise more with less effort. And if you're looking for something to help you grow your online fundraising throughout the year, whether it be for your Giving Tuesday or for year-end fundraising, feel free to check us out. In addition to software, we provide a lot of education, like our Giving Tuesday bootcamp that we're doing today. So super excited to share with you. Where we are today is last week on Halloween. Hopefully you guys had a great Halloween, got a lot of candy. We went over the intro to Giving Tuesday. We gave you a step-by-step into 8 best practices on how you can accelerate your Giving Tuesday. On today's class, we're actually just focusing on one thing. We're focusing on how you can promote your Giving Tuesday campaign on December 3rd, right? And then very lastly, after today's class, you will get a link to schedule a one-on-one coaching session. So this allows you to ask all your questions in more detail, present your plans, and it gives you a time to really hone and craft your Giving Tuesday campaign. In addition to this, as we mentioned last time, you have access to all the slides, all the recordings, the consultation as well. But in addition to that stuff, we're also giving you a PDF planning guide with a communications calendar. In addition to that, we're giving you a promotional calendar template as well that you can use to fill in the gaps. Still alive, Candace? She's still alive. And then lastly, we're going to give you the Cosvox basic plan for free if you want to use Cosvox or don't have a platform for your fundraising. All right, so let's dive into this class as Candace gets some water. So Giving Tuesday, just in review, it's on December 3rd on Tuesday. It's just in a few weeks. So this planning session comes in at a great time. When it comes to Giving Tuesday, this is what we talked about last time too. It's not about just participating, just about putting up your donation form or page. It's really about rallying your community together in order to give on one day. So it's based on stories, it's based on goals, it's based on inspiring and rallying your community to take part in your Giving Tuesday campaign. Attention is the most valuable currency. Just want to reiterate that again. You want to get as much attention as possible because the more attention you get, the more donations you'll get. The more donations you'll get, the more impact you can create. So in order to help you get as much attention as possible from not only your own community, but also second, third, fourth degree folks, and then the broader public, we have 4 things we want to go over today as your checklist for your Giving Tuesday promotion. So today we'll go over some best practices on how you can promote your Giving Tuesday campaign. Then we'll go over on how you can create some of your marketing assets. These are your communications materials, your social media posts, your emails, things like that. And then we'll go over some multi-channel tips So extending out how you can do communications outside of online, outside of just social media and email. And then very lastly, on how you can create a promotional calendar to follow for the days leading up to Giving Tuesday. Now, if you all have any questions at any time during this presentation, during this class, feel free to chat us in. You'll find the chat Zoom function under the Q&A as well as under the chat. Feel free to chat us in because at the end of class, if we have time, we will be going over those questions. And if we don't have enough time, then we can schedule a one-on-one time with each one of you to go over any questions that you have. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Candace.
Yeah, so we're going to be going over some best practices for promoting your Giving Tuesday campaign. So this is really on a whole how you can craft your messaging so that across all of the channels that you'll be promoting your campaign on, that everything is really high performing and consistent and really reaches your audience where they are. So the first one is just that, speak to your audience. So when you're crafting your promotions, you're going to want to be really personal in how you approach your audience. So making sure that your messaging is reaching the right people at the right time, segmenting your community. So, you know, maybe sending certain emails to only major donors, certain emails to your board members, and, you know, of course, the lower to medium range donors, personalizing those messages for them, so that there's also a little bit of context added in. So wherever you can, if you know that certain people are interested in one of your programs in particular, you can craft your messaging specifically for them so that they feel personally addressed, and you're meeting your supporters where you are.
So generic messages don't really work as well.
No, so I mean, you can shoot out a big email blast and that's effective too, but it's more effective if you're approaching your audience from the perspective of who they are and if they feel that they're being personally reached out to and that their ask and the content makes sense for them and their interests and how they've interacted with your organization previously, your messaging is going to resonate with them a lot more. So best practice number one. So best practice number two. So one of the things, and you've probably heard this before, but stories really do drive everything. So when you're creating your content for Giving Tuesday, a lot of it is going to be all around your story. And so last time we talked about creating your fundraising appeal and having a story being the focus of that as well. So what you're going to want to do is take that story and a couple other stories as well and really lean into those for Giving Tuesday. So because those stories are what's going to you know, make the statistics a reality to your donors. You know, you can have a lot of statistics about your organization, but a story of someone your organization has impacted is going to really resonate because it helps your donors have a real connection with the heart of your mission in a way that statistics don't reach. And so with that as well, you're going to want to focus on a single story. So it's really hard to tell a story of, let's say, an entire community being impacted by your organization. Of course, you can highlight the ways that you've impacted a community, but try and focus on one specific individual and really drill down into their story and their experience through your organization with the impact that they've created in their life. So that's going to be what really resonates with people as well. And really try and package these stories so that they're created to be shared and across multiple platforms, because that's going to be a key thing when you're creating your assets. And best practice number 3, you're going to want to use multiple channels to promote your Giving Tuesday campaign. Now, we're going to go into all the specifics of what that looks like. But one of the key things to keep in mind when you're using all of these different channels is that you still want to have the same message. So your Giving Tuesday campaign is focused around one specific ask, around one specific impact that you're trying to create. So keeping that consistent across all of your channels so people know your goals and what you're looking to achieve is really important. And also considering which channels certain messaging would work better for. So something that you would post on LinkedIn, for example, might be a little bit different than you would post on Facebook, because those communities are going to have different audiences that you're going to want to still resonate with, but keep consistent messaging throughout. Another thing is just across all of your channels, make sure that you're succinct and people know what it is that you're looking to accomplish and know what you want them to do. Best practice number 4 is be human. So a lot of the times we can get so caught up in creating all of these messages and appeals and crafting all this content. And sometimes we lose our voice in that process. I feel like even at CauseVox, we can get caught up in that too. Just make sure that when you're creating your messaging that it feels human and not like some robot that's speaking up from out of the sky telling them to give, and that it feels like more personally addressed. And people love to give to people. I think that's the heart of the matter. Even with like storytellings, people give to people. And if they can tell that, you know, you've worked so hard to put this Giving Tuesday campaign together, and you can even go into your own personal story and any anecdotes that you have to share, I think that goes a long way in helping your audience feel, again, like they have a personal connection with your organization, and helps you really stand out in a crowded inbox over and above all of the other emails and everything else that they're going to be receiving that day. And so something else to keep in mind while you're crafting this content is that helping people feel like you're speaking to them is going to go a really long way. So there's this quote that says, "Do not, however, address your readers as though they were gathered together in a stadium. When people read your copy, they are alone. Pretend that you are writing each of them a letter on behalf of your client, one human being to another, second person singular." So those emails that should be emphasized as to you, so you can create impact with us and speaking directly to them instead of you know, addressing people as a group, because you know, when people receive an email, they are alone. So and best practice number 5 is engage your community. So, you know, with all of your content and all of your messaging, you're going to want to really build in community engagement as part of this. This can look a few different ways. Part of it is celebrating the donor and helping people feel part of the impact that you're looking to create for Giving Tuesday, so that they're just not just giving to your impact that you're creating, but you include them in celebrations as you are creating that impact and you're celebrating the donor. This kind of engagement really does drive donor retention. It helps people feel really close with your organization, and is more likely to drive further donations in the future, especially if you report that impact back to them later. And then something else to keep in mind is that 85% of people prefer being asked by a friend to donate. So this is also something to keep in mind with peer-to-peer fundraising, like we went over last time. It's really essential to engage your community to, at the very least, share on your behalf, but also engaging them to fundraise on your behalf as well and create their own personal fundraising pages. Again, that's going to involve them in your campaign on another level that drives donations and also drives retention later on as well.
Great. So 5 great best practices that you can use in order to set the foundation for how you promote your GivingTuesday campaign. But before you develop a promotional calendar, before you even touch social media, before you even log into your email sending service, I want to talk about how you should be gathering some of your marketing assets. So the key is for GivingTuesday promotion, in order to get the word out, in order to really reach as many people as possible, is that we have to prepare. So you have to prepare from now until GivingTuesday in gathering all of your assets. So if you only have half a day between now and GivingTuesday, or let's say a day in general, if you don't have a lot of time, then this is our short list of GivingTuesday promotional items for you to collect. So just 8 items. So we talked a lot about this on the last class, about your fundraising appeal, about quick videos, some logos, some stories, impact. This is all you need for the bare minimum. If you don't have a lot of time, I recommend these 8 items here. So just having a little bit of content. Of course, what you'll do if you don't have a lot of time is you'll repurpose a lot of this content on different channels, as well as you'll tweak certain things, take out certain things for your emails and promotions. So take a look at this. I'm not going to spend too much time reading each one, just because you will get the slides later on. Now, in terms of sourcing stories, there's 2 general buckets. You can source stories from the people you help, or you can source stories from the people that help you. So think about, who do you help? This would be your beneficiaries, the people that you're serving. You want to source stories from them. You still have a few weeks left, or maybe all year long you've gathered some stories. So take a look at some of the impact stories being shared. Take a look at some of the recent stories that you can gather, and you can source some interesting impact stories from there. You can also source your stories from the people that have helped you. So this would be your board members, your volunteers, your staff members, your peer-to-peer fundraisers. So take a look at what kind of quotes they have. If you did peer-to-peer this year, then you have a story bank already. So you can actually take a look at each personal fundraising page and what people have written and take stories from there. Or let's talk about some board members. At your next board meeting, hopefully it's between now and GivingTuesday. If not, you can just send out an email to them, just asking why are they on the board, what's something that they really love that they've helped the organization accomplish. Just get first-person testimonials, some quotes, some short stories, if possible, from those sources. Now, that's where you can source some of your assets. Now, in terms of the next topic, which is around the multi-channel approach. So we want to get out of the box where GivingTuesday is just about social media. GivingTuesday is a hashtag. You'll see it right here. It's hashtag GivingTuesday. So there is a big social media presence, but the biggest opportunity for a lot of nonprofits is actually taking their GivingTuesday campaign offline, as well as bringing it to multi-channel. So multi-channel is where a lot of your donors are. And what does that really mean from the marketing perspective and the communications perspective? So for a lot of organizations, this means really capitalizing on your email, making sure that your email campaign is running. This also means looking at your social media. But some of the other opportunities too is really making sure that you have a top-notch website and donation experience for your donors, looking at partnerships and doing peer-to-peer. So for our next section here, based on multi-channel marketing, we're going to dissect each one of these 5 things and then walk you through in more detail some best practices for each.
So first up, when we're talking about a multi-channel approach, I think email marketing is probably one of the biggest things that you'll want to spend a lot of time crafting your communications for. It's also, email marketing tends to be the highest return on investment as far as online fundraising goes. So you're going to get a lot of response from email, even more than you may on social media. So this is super important to really craft your emails well. So a few GivingTuesday email essentials. So with each of your emails, you're going to want to have a few key things that make the emails really effective. And so first step being a greeting and personalization. So having a merge tag that pulls in their name into the email instead of something that's more general, like, hey friends. If it has their name, they're more likely to open it. They're more likely to feel like you're talking to them. And again, having like a clear appeal and story. This is going to be really similar to the appeal that you've already written for your campaign. Really going into the why, like why it's important for them to give today, especially. So driving up that urgency and focusing on the impact that can be created. And then ending your email with a real clear call to action so that each of your donors or each member of your audience knows that they're being asked to give in order to help create the impact that you just pitched to them. So that's going to be really key, is having that really clear, strong call to action. And so when you're talking about crafting these promotional emails for Giving Tuesday, there's a few things I want to just highlight as far as a few key elements that you're going to want to spend some time focusing on. The first of which is email targeting. So I mentioned this earlier, is like segmenting those members of your audience. So even going so far as to crafting different emails for different types of donors and people who have donated to different programs, and like specifically, and crafting those so there's more stories that are resonating with those types of donors. So whether they're major donors, that's going to be maybe a different story, but definitely a different ask. So that you're asking each donor, you're having an appropriate ask for each of them. So major donors, you're going to ask more from. Smaller donors, you're going to have an appropriate amount that you're asking them to contribute. So that's a little bit about email targeting. The next thing that you're going to really want to dive into is your subject line. Their inbox is going to be a bit flooded on Giving Tuesday, so it's super, super important to have a subject line that stands out. So one of the things that you can do to really help yours stand out in their inbox is keeping it short, under 50 characters, not a big, long subject line. Not overusing capital letters, so you don't want to have all caps in there because that makes it look a little spammy. And I think posing a question is actually a really great opportunity. So will you act is a great question. It drives urgency, and it asks people to respond. And then personalizing with the donor's name, if possible, is also a really great way to get people to open your emails. As far as email content goes, you're going to want to make those emails super clear about what it is that they're supporting, why your Giving campaign is so vital, and really showing them the impact that they can create. And, again, celebrating that donor and how they play a role in the change that they're creating. Now, with your call to action, there's a few best practices that you can do to craft a good call to action. So this is going to be maybe the most important part of your email because it's helping your donors understand what it is that you want them to do. So just being as clear and direct as possible. You'll see even in this example here, they have a matching gift in place. So it says match my gift is the call to action there. That's a great way. So people know exactly what they're being asked to do. They're being asked to give, and they know that their gift is being matched. You're also going to want to make it stand out. So whether it's in an email or anywhere else, even that button is bright, it's red, your eye is automatically directed to it. So that's going to be something that you want to incorporate into your emails as well. And really just drive home the immediacy with that as well. So, you know, every penny is doubled. It's very clear that, you know, this is urgent, and the donor needs to act now.
So with those practices in mind for email, here's a sample email promotional timeline. So this is just one sample. I know there's a lot of words over here, but just kind of giving a high level, and then you can dissect it at your own time. There's basically two phases when it comes to email promotional timelines. On the left side here, you have what we call the quiet phase. So the quiet phase is when before you launch and kind of you nurturing and priming the pump essentially. So you want to get your campaign site running or your donation form or website up to speed. And then what you want to do is just announce that something is coming. You want to show appreciation. You want to share some stories of impact. You basically want to build up enough capital where that once GivingTuesday rolls around and you make an ask and call to action, people want to take part. So on the right-hand side over here, you have what we call the loud phase as opposed to the quiet phase. So loud phase is when GivingTuesday rolls around and you just need to make as much noise as you can so that you can get as much attention as you can. Now, if you only do the right-hand side, you're not going to get any donations. If you only do the left-hand side, then you're not going to get any donations. So what happens is you want to make sure that when you make an ask that people are ready to donate to you. Or if you're nurturing folks, that you finally make an ask. So make sure you have this quiet phase on the left-hand side and the loud phase on the right. Now, in order to kind of dissect this out for you even more, we have 4 or 5 different email templates and formats and structures that you can follow. So I just want to kind of go through this kind of quickly, just because we have other content to share with you, and you can actually copy and paste these templates into your Google Docs or your email sending platform in order to craft out your emails. So one of my favorites is this 1 week out informational email. This is a nurturing email. So during the quiet phase, you can use this template. And what you want to do is just engage your previous supporters or previous donors. The email formula really is what Candace talked about, where you personalize it, you have an appeal, you have your impact, and then you have a specific call to action. You just want to make sure that with this nurturing that you're sharing a compelling story about the impact that you've created. And if there is a specific call to action for them to do during that day, then you provide that to them. So here's a great example here that we've developed for you for your template number 1 that you can use during your quiet phase. The other email over here is our template number 2. So this is the email template that you can use the day before GivingTuesday, which is Monday, December 2nd. So you can use this, schedule it into your email sending service. So the formula here is very similar to the first one, where you have a personal greeting, hello, kind of Rob or Candace, for example, and then you have a specific impact statement and then a call to action. So basically the same formula over here, it's just more of a reminder email. So here's a similar one based off the last example that you can use. Template number 3, if you're doing peer-to-peer, which we have advocated for many times since class 1, where you get more donations, twice as much in fact, and 85% of people want to be asked from a friend, the family, instead of the organization. So highly recommend that you plug in peer-to-peer into your GivingTuesday and your fundraising initiative. If you're doing peer-to-peer, then about 4 to 6 weeks out, which is about this time in the next week or 2, you want to include a peer-to-peer invitation. While template number 1 was more for just general supporters for them to eventually make a donation, this email is about getting folks to sign on to create a personal fundraising page and raise funds during GivingTuesday. So of course you want to personalize it. You have the impact story again. And then what you want to do is make sure they present a little more details into how the peer-to-peer fundraising works with a specific call to action to your peer-to-peer campaign site to create a personal page. And here's a template of email that you can follow that performs very well. And template number 4 is your loud phase. So this is when the email goes out during Giving Tuesday. So you're kind of competing and jostling with other organizations on Giving Tuesday, just because your donors may get other emails from other folks. So that's why your subject line is actually very, very important in this email. So using the question approach that Candace mentioned, as well as making it urgent and intriguing, is very important so that it stands out. What you don't want to do is have something that's very generic. For example, something generic would be donate now, or we need your donation, something that's very transactional. But think about what your donors will want to click on, or what you individually as a person will want to click on in order to open up the email. So this is template number 4, and you can follow this example over here. If you can see my screen, it says they use like a question in order, as well as personalization, in order to get someone to open up this email. So check out this example. You can follow the similar format. And the last one over here, this is another email as part of a loud phase. So in template number 4, you're sending that out in the morning. In template number 5, you're giving a mid-morning update or an afternoon update or evening update, essentially. So you can use this template, follows the same format as before with a personalization, details, impact, or update in terms of how your Giving Tuesday campaign is going, with a specific call to action, which is a link to make a donation. And here's an example on how you can develop that. So feel free to copy and paste any of these examples over here and use it for your own email marketing. So your action item for you is the one, pre-write your donor emails. So some of these emails that we've shown you. So create at least 5, because what you don't want to do is on Giving Tuesday actually writing those emails. So think about taking these templates over here, just 5 of them. So you can use this for action item number 1. If you're doing peer-to-peer fundraising, you want to pre-write your recruiting emails as well. So 1 or 2 of them, in order to recruit folks like board members and volunteers to create personal pages. And then number 3 is working with the partners. So in class number 1, we talked about how you can leverage partnerships. And if you have a few partners in play that have signed on, they want to make sure that you pre-write those emails for them in order to announce it that you're launching Giving Tuesday, so that you can be ready to have a specific email for those folks.
So just talked about email. Now another channel that is particularly significant for Giving Tuesday, as it is a hashtag, is social media. So I feel like Giving Tuesday sort of was birthed on social media and really does thrive there. There's a lot to Giving Tuesday where there's a lot of sharing happening. And so you're going to want to optimize your social media posts so that you get the most exposure that you possibly can. Really, to sum it up, is that you're going to want to create the most engaging content possible. So similarly to your emails, this is really going to shine when it's impact and story driven. A few key things that you want to make sure that you have with each of your social media posts is a link to your campaign site. So each campaign, whether it's a hard ask or a soft ask, each post that you have should link back to your campaign, regardless of whether you're just announcing it or just, telling a quick story. Everything needs to link back to that campaign so you can optimize donations from your social media posts. Another thing that you'll want to incorporate is the Giving Tuesday hashtag. Make sure that that's part of each of your social media posts across all of your channels. So no matter what you're using, Giving Tuesday hashtag can be plugged in there. Also Giving Tuesday branding. So think about how you can incorporate the Giving Tuesday logo into your images or videos and incorporate that branding so that not only can they see through your hashtag that you're participating in Giving Tuesday, but they can see immediately on seeing the image that you're sharing that it's a Giving Tuesday associated image. Along with that is that with each and every post, you're going to have an image or a video. That's really going to be what makes your campaign jump out to your supporters. Especially video content, if at all possible, is really, really engaging. And you can even have, if you have like a longer video, break it up into shorter pieces, share that across your different social channels so that you have even more to share. And with each and every social media post, whether it's share, whether it's donate, you're just going to want to have a clear call to action with each post so that it continues to circulate online and drive donations. So I get asked this a lot, which channels are the best for Giving Tuesday campaign promotion? And my answer is the social media channels that you already have an engaged audience on. So if you're not using Instagram, now is not the time to suddenly start trying to use Instagram. Because you're going to burn out a lot of your hours and resources trying to build those social channels up. While I think it's most valuable to really, really focus on what you're already doing well and have your engaged audience on. So whether that's Facebook, people are really active on your page and share a lot more on Facebook, then that's going to be the best channel for you to focus on. Of course, there's Instagram, LinkedIn, if you do any of the Snapchat or other channels as well, but I would really just say wherever you see yourself thriving on social media, that's where your campaign is going to be most effective. So I figured to dive into what makes a good social media post, I pulled up Fiverr's Facebook page because they really thrive on Facebook. Most of their social activity is on their Facebook page. And so similar to the email examples that we have a few examples. So this one here, that's more of the lead up to Giving Tuesday and the quiet period per se. You'll see there's not such a hard ask. It's just kind of introducing the campaign. It has a really nice high quality image. And that's really what's driving people to click and learn more. The day before Giving Tuesday, they posted a really nice story and really pitched how Giving Tuesday, the funds raised on Giving Tuesday, will make an impact. So it's helping their campers achieve greatness. So you'll see that there's that link again, there's that Giving Tuesday hashtag, and then in their image, they have the Giving Tuesday logo as well. And it's really a nice image that they're using as well, like where they're focusing on, funds are being raised for campers. They have a picture of camp. On Giving Tuesday, they did several posts, but this is one of them. So you'll see, again, it's a really nice high quality image with the Giving Tuesday logo on it and all the Giving Tuesday hearts. It looks nice and it kind of does catch the eye. Bonus tip, typically images with 1 or 2 people in it actually get the most attention. So just consider that because I think it makes people feel like it's more of an individual. And again, that goes back to being personally addressed. But I digress. Giving Tuesday, you're going to want to really dive into your what your goals are. Highlighting matching is what they did because they have that matching gift in place. So incorporating that into your ask as well. And again, really focusing on impact. And last but not least, after Giving Tuesday, so the day after, Sometimes people will call it Thank You Wednesday. You're going to want to report back immediately as to what you've accomplished on Giving Tuesday. It helps your donors understand, of course, where you are in terms of your goals. And then in Fiverr's case, they were rolling their Giving Tuesday campaign into their year-end fundraising, which is also something we recommended. So they are even they're celebrating their donors for what they've already achieved, and then encouraging them to keep going through the end of the year as well. And they updated their fundraising goal. So that's something to consider as well when you're crafting your social media posts.
So we just talked about typical organic social media when you're creating content and posting it. Now there's additional bonus. So if you do have time in terms of your promotional planning, you can actually take advantage of paid social media targeting. So for example, since we talked about Facebook, you can actually buy some Facebook ads and either help promote your existing posts, or you can reach new audiences. Because when you post on Facebook, not all of your followers are going to see it, just because they may not be logged in, or it gets buried on their news feeds. So you kind of need to pay to play. So if you want to maximize your reach on social media, then Facebook requires you to actually put ad budget to promote that post. One of the benefits of that, even though you are spending a lot of money, is that you can actually test certain messages in this quiet phase. So maybe you have 5 different stories that you've gathered, and you're not really sure which one will perform the best. So what you could do is you can run Facebook ads on each one of those 5 different posts and see which ones people are most interested in. Most interested in means engagement, likes, shares, whatever it is. So that's a way for you to test certain messages so that once you get to the loud phase, then you can maximize your amount of reach. What you can also do is you can use paid social media ads in order to reach audiences that look like or look similar to your existing audience of followers. So this way you can reach different folks that have similar interests, that look similar in terms of their behavior on social media and related to your followers. So this allows you to reach new audiences. You can put a little bit of ad spend into it, which is a big bonus if you do have the time. The other big part when it comes to social media, some new trends, is you can actually run something called a Facebook Live. So you may have done this before, or you may have seen one before, but this is basically live streaming on Facebook. So this helps you get increased exposure because you're personalizing the content. So when a new donor that doesn't know about you or may not be as engaged, when they see an actual person talking about their work or engaging with their donors and having a conversation or even engaging with the beneficiaries, then this is actually more personal and more authentic than a generic email blast or a generic social media post. So if you do have the ability to do something that's live streamed, then we definitely recommend you doing that. Now, this is another sample promotional timeline. So the first one I showed you before is for your email, and this one over here is related to your social media. But same thing, on the left-hand side over here, you have your quiet phase. On the right-hand side, you have your loud phase. So when it comes to those 2 approaches, social media is very similar to email, but you're just using a different channel. So we have some ideas over here that you can follow in order to get your word out. One last note too is that last time we mentioned that brands have seen a decrease of 20 to 50% in terms of their reach, just because these platforms like Facebook and Instagram and etc., they want to monetize eyeballs. So what that really means is that they want you as a nonprofit to pay to reach your own audience. So because of this, we believe that if you don't have a budget, or even if you do have one, and if you want to extend your reach, you want to equip your supporters to share instead of just you promoting it to your channels. Because this allows you to tap into second and third degree networks. So some action items for you is that 1, you want to pre-write your social media posts. I think that's obvious based on what Candace mentioned. But secondly, that in order for you to reach new audiences, you want to pre-write your social media posts for your supporters. So recruiting your donors, recruiting your supporters, recruiting your board members to share with their own networks so that you can extend your reach. And every individual, I think on average, has about 600, 700 Facebook followers. So the more people you can recruit and share, the more people you can reach with your message. The last best, I think this is the last best practice, or no, sorry, second to last best practice to over here related to your marketing channel is your website. I'm just going to touch on this really quickly because we have a lot of other great things to share. But when it comes to developing a promotional plan, now, if you just think about, hey, I want to create a story, write emails, and et cetera, you can have the best emails, the best social media posts, the best stories. But when it comes to actually making a donation, you have to think really closely on that. So you want to make sure that your website has the best donation experience possible for your GivingTuesday donors. So one of the things that we see a lot of organizations do is that replace their actual donate button, which is typically kind of clunky or redirects to like a PayPal link that's very transactional. They actually replace that with a campaign site that's GivingTuesday branded, that has a video, that has a progress bar, that has peer-to-peer fundraising integrated. So if you're able to do that, we highly recommend that, because then people can see in real time how much has been raised against the GivingTuesday or year-end fundraising goal. So definitely do that. What you can also do is change up your homepage and change up the hero image to showcase GivingTuesday. You can also post updates to your website, and you make sure that you want to just take a look at your website. What kind of things need to be cleaned up a little bit, because you're driving a ton of traffic over there. And also make sure that your donation page and donation experience is the easiest possible. So the action item for you is to talk to your IT guy, whether that be yourself or a volunteer or a formal IT person, and make sure that you pass along the updates that need to be done, specifically around replacing your donate button with a GivingTuesday campaign site.
And partnerships. So we went over this last time. And have already hinted at it earlier today. But with GivingTuesday, one of the things that is a huge opportunity is to leverage the audiences of your partners. So really diving into who you already have in your network and existing partners and even potential partners through either connections through your board members or major donors. And going after those communication partnerships are going to be huge in opening up, getting more eyes on your GivingTuesday campaign. So the two things that you're going to definitely want to think about is leveraging others' social media audiences and also leveraging their email list. So there's a few ways that you can do this. So you can distribute that list of pre-written social media posts and emails to communication partners. So that's already provided to them, and also have a suggested promotional calendar with the dates similar to like what we showed you earlier, so that they know when they should be posting and when they should be emailing on your behalf. Another fun option as well is I've seen organizations swap social media. So for the day of GivingTuesday, you as your organization will take over the partner social media and post all of your own posts on their page. So that's another way for you to leverage their social media networks as well. So also a huge opportunity for you to extend the reach of your campaign. And last but not least, but is peer-to-peer fundraising. And so Rob mentioned this before, but it's really about leveraging their network so that you get an even more extended reach on your campaign. We've seen organizations that ran peer-to-peer with us for the first time. One organization, the Asian American Arts Alliance, had 91% of their donors were brand new donors, and it was because they all came through peer-to-peer. So typically we see organizations raise about twice as much What is really cool about peer-to-peer is that I think it fits in with the nature of Giving Tuesday, because it really started with individuals sharing about the causes that they love and why they were supporting them. So giving your supporters the opportunity to create that personal fundraising page, and having those easy share tools right on the page makes it a huge opportunity for Giving Tuesday specifically, and really works well. And we talked about how important stories are in driving donations. And I think that your peer-to-peer fundraisers have so many great stories to tell. What can happen is sometimes they don't know how to tell those stories. So when you're recruiting your fundraisers and when we're working with them, potentially one-on-one, you want to help them craft their story, maybe by providing some content beforehand as well, while you're recruiting them, but asking them the right questions about what motivates them, why this cause is important to them personally, and how they're connected to your cause, and any personal pictures that they have to share. This is all going to help them create great content, not only for their personal fundraising page, but also for them to share on social media, and tag your organization in and share the page on. So that's really going to help you also create your story bank for Giving Tuesday as well. Another thing is that, fundraisers need some help sometimes about how they can promote their personal fundraising page. So, help them understand what channels they can share their story on as well. So, giving them that email, social media content, helping them, learn how to communicate word of mouth or in calls, emails, live events, maybe encouraging them to do a Facebook Live as well, just directing them onto what channels they can be sharing about your organization on. So for you, action item is to distribute those pre-written social media posts and emails to your peer-to-peer fundraisers, and also creating their own promotional calendar so that they can stay organized and stay on track to help best promote their pages leading up to Giving Tuesday and on Giving Tuesday.
All right, so we talked about a lot of online channels. Let's talk about some offline ones, because another big opportunity here. So if you do have the capacity to take your Giving Tuesday offline, then do it. So if you have the space, the time, the staff, the budget, this is a great way for you to provide a more personalized experience. And the more personal you make it, then as fundraising experience have told you, then the more donations you'll get. So some offline event ideas include like an open house at your offices, so your donors and supporters can really understand what work has been done, build a personal relationship with you and your staff, and then that can make the ask a lot easier. You can also partner with some local businesses, have them host an event for your donors throughout the day. So it's a win-win for your partners. Your partners get more business or more awareness, and then you get in a space to have an event. So think about some events you can do, because this is a great way to distinguish yourself from other organizations just running an online campaign. Some additional ideas when it comes to offline promotion is you can partner with some of your local news in order to promote your fundraising event. Because during Giving Tuesday, most of the news outlets, national as well as local, have some type of story related to it. So if you have something in the calendar, if you reach out to the right press folks over there, then that can get you included in a story, which drives a lot of awareness to your event. We also have press releases here that are related to that. Very lastly here, the main thing I want to share, there are some other ideas, is that you can leverage the people that have helped you to help you even more. So board members, volunteers, major donors. It makes sense to, if they're willing, to give your other donors a call in dividing and conquering your donor list. This way, it provides a different type of perspective, a donor asking a donor, a friend asking a friend to make a donation. Moving on, so let's talk about our promotional calendar since we're almost at time. So we do have a resource here for you that I'll send to you via email on our class summary email. We have a promotional calendar template that you can follow. Basically includes a Excel spreadsheet dated from November 1st through December 4th, December 3rd. Where you can easily take a look at some of these channels that we talked about: email, social media, website, peer-to-peer partner, and on offline, and what you can be doing for each one. So the idea is that we provide an example promotional calendar for you to follow, and then you can actually make a copy and fill it out yourself with you and your team members, so you can follow this day by day as your promotional calendar template. Your action item over here is to create a master list of your promotional calendar and make sure that your content, stories, social media posts, are ready for sharing when GivingTuesday rolls around. Now, just to wrap things up, so what we talked about today, 5 best practices for GivingTuesday promotion. The main gist of this is to be personal, make sure you have a compelling story. The second big thing is we talked about is creating a marketing assets. So now is the best time for you to gather your stories, to create your social media posts, to create your emails based off the templates that we shared with you today. And you'll get a copy of this in the next day or two. Number 3, multi-channel marketing tips. So instead of just focusing only on social media, since that will only give you limited reach, focus on email, focus on partners, focus on offline events. And then very lastly, creating a promotional calendar, which we just talked about. The different inputs that go into it, they can follow day by day. So that's pretty much what we have to talk about for class 2. As a next step, what we'd love for you to do, and I'll send this link to you via email as well, so you can just click on it, is to schedule your one-on-one GivingTuesday session with us, where we can walk you through any questions that you have in more details, as well as to review any of your GivingTuesday fundraising plans. So I'd love to carve out some time with you so we can get your questions answered, so you can make sure that your GivingTuesday is a success. Again, this class is presented by CauseVox. We help you raise more with less effort. So whether it be fundraising education or fundraising software or platform, feel free to check us out if you're looking for that. And you can also launch your GivingTuesday campaign for free. As I mentioned before, we're giving the basic plan for free to all folks. So 0% platform fee, 0%, $0 monthly, $0 annually. So if you need something, feel free to use us. Feel free to check us out. We'll be happy to chat about that. And for remaining time today, I think we only have a few minutes. We'll do some Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it into the Q&A box, as well as the chat box. We'll be happy to stay on for a few minutes and answer any questions you have. Now, if you can't stay past, just because I know we're coming at a stop over here, feel free to save your questions as well for your one-on-one session whenever that does get scheduled with you in the next week or so. So we'll stay on just for a few minutes, just for some Q&A.